Hello everyone, today we are taking a look at the Starlord. That is a frame from Jacks3DPrinting, and in this case, it's got HDZero inside. Let's weigh it up real quick. We'll skip all the specs for right now and go fly. As I have it built, it weighs 43.5 grams. I flew it on this G&B 450 milliamp 2S battery, and with that battery it comes to 70.69 grams.
Yeah, that's just fine. Battery's still not showing full. I think my scale might be off a little bit or something.
Yep, so this flight will not have a full battery, it looks like, because I did check the scale and it was accurate. Must have been a battery that I had not charged all the way, or I let it sit too long. I did have a few batteries that I had kept holding back charged because I kept hoping I would get a weather break. This flight you too have seen part of in the HDZero goggles, and of course I am using the HDZero goggles to record this HDZero flight. You'll notice some of the icon differences that you may have not seen before if you haven't seen HDZero goggles and how things look. Specifically, I no longer have some of the icons on, like the fan and the lock that you saw up there up top. I don't record those on my DVR anymore. Those are HDZero specific icons. They're not flight specific. We also have the reception up in the top right hand corner, which unfortunately, at least right now, you can't select which ones to record and which not to record. So the Betaflight OSD elements, they'll always be there unless you turn the Betaflight OSD elements off. I am also using the Purple Panda, like a lapel microphone that I have clipped about nipple high on my chest. That keeps it away from my nose and mouth so you don't get all the huffing and puffing when I'm breathing. And it also makes it dead simple for me to make flight videos like this, to where I wasn't necessarily thinking I was going to make a video. I was just flying and maybe possibly use the footage later on. Turns out, looks like now I'm making the footage twice. And part of the reason behind that is that many people ask me about running digital quads and micros specifically, because I know they're very niche and sometimes a little bit painful. And some of our companies have tried it out as well. And we saw the bass line, the guitar from Happy Model just the other day, which I miserably potentially got wrong. I still don't have confirmation it's bass or bass line. I suspect many of you have corrected me properly, so I'm not going to even start to try that argument trail. But I suspect that one will see an HDZero, potentially a walk snail, maybe even DJI, maybe even DJI 03. I don't know. I just think they've got something up their sleeve coming with that bass line, bass line.
Had to bail out. I was not where I thought I was.
Yeah, sorry, I got interrupted by my real self there in real time when I had a little flight funny there. But yeah, I think they got something coming for us. But I wanted to show you this as I was getting around to for micro builds and HD, specifically with HDZero and Walk Snail. You can use the 1S boards and just wire them to 5 volt on your all-in-one flight controller. Now, I'm not going to say that's 100% the way you should do it. I've done it 4 times and I haven't had any problems. It's possible there's an all-in-one flight controller or just any 5 volt regulator on any of our stuff.
Battery is dying. Battery is dying so fast. Oh, I didn't kill it. It's still popping back up. 3, 4, 1. Yeah, 3, 4, 1 looks like where it's going to be.
I need to finish my thought before I kind of interrupted myself when I was actually flying. So if you want to build a micro with using one of these HD systems, whether it's HDZero or it's Walk Snail, wire them to the 5 volt. I can't rule out that there's some flight controllers that allow that 5 volt regulator actually go much above, whether it's just a tiny bit and our digital VTXs will handle it, or if it's too much. I can't say. I can report that in the case of HDZero, I've done 4 that way. In the case of Walk Snail, I've done 2 that way with 1S specific boards. I think it should be safe, but again, it's a little bit my just disclaimer that we never know what's out there, and I haven't tried everything, so I can't be 100% certain. But that would be my recommendation to you, that if you're wanting to build with a 1S board, which does save you weight and gives you more flight time and performance by saving that weight, wire it to the 5 volt. But I can't be certain of that. We'll start off with motor post. I'm getting just about 90 millimeters. And the carbon fiber is nice and thick at 2.5 millimeters thick. This, as well as other frames, are available from Jacks3DPrinting. I will make it easy for you and link it down below, but I do not have any affiliation with Jack other than to buy stuff from him. Okay, the rest of the build. We've got 1102 at 10,000 kV motors. And yes, I have been corrected. There are other companies making 1102s. It just seems that they might be in very short supply. I tried to order a set from Pyrodrome, but I think I could only get 2. Not the Happy Model version. They were another version. I find the HDLRC Aeolus 1102 10,000 kVs available at more stores. And potentially there was some miscommunication between me and Happy Model about these motors, because I know that Rotor Geeks up north, our friends up north in Canada, they have 1102 10,000 kVs, and they have been buying them from Happy Model. So Happy Model's still making them. I have to eat some crow, take a pie in the face, excuse me, about my statement about these motors. But I would like to see more motor manufacturers get in this game so that we can have competition. By the way, when it comes to 1102 motors, I would like to know from you guys that fly around concrete and asphalt, what's your go-to motor? Because I know Happy Model motors are very efficient, but they also aren't all that durable. So if you're flying around concrete, motor stems, motor bells, all sorts of damage to report there. I've gotten on good authority from many, many people that these just can't handle a lot of hard crashes on those sorts of surfaces. So in those cases, what do you go to? Please let us all know down in the comment section. The most durable 1102 you've tried. I'm not a good reference point because I fly in the same space and I don't have that much concrete around me. Okay, thank you. Of course, we've still got the GemFan 2023 props. The flight controller down here is the FlyWoo Versatile F405. It's kind of an expensive board at just about $100, but it's real nice in that it's got all sorts of UARTs. It's got nice size solder pads to solder our wires on here, and it's just a solid board. It doesn't come with a VTX, and that makes it perfect, at least in that sense, for HDZero or Walksnail digital sort of builds, so that we can add MSP DisplayPort and our UART is fully available regardless of what else you're going on. You might want to check out that board. I'll link it down below. From time to time, I do find it in FPV shops in the US. I think it gets snatched up pretty quick, so it's a good light board, but do know you have to solder. And it's kind of expensive at, I think it was $99 when I looked before starting this recording. Of course, the HDZero canopies are more tall than traditional canopies, or not canopies, excuse me, camera. The camera is taller than it is wide, so you have to have, really this is the only canopy that's pre-manufactured that I'm aware of that houses this. I bet Beta FPV has one. I just don't have a sample that I can kind of visually look at it, because the Beta FPV quads that sent that were digital had Walksnail. So this canopy from Happy Model that came on their Mob 6, I think, or Mob 7 HDZero, that's the one that I've been using, although I have obliterated the one that was previously on this quad. So it broke in every spot except for the one I'm holding on to. So probably not, again, the most durable. For a good durable canopy, printing is probably going to be long-term your best solution. 3D prints will give a little bit, hopefully not enough to where your camera hits your board, but you know they'll give a little bit and bounce back. And I find 3D print canopies to be more durable than manufactured ones as well. You just have to be careful about weight, because you can really get a lot of weight in a print. So it might be super durable, but it might weigh 3.5 grams. And you don't want that. Not on a 2-inch 2S at least. I have my ORT. I think they call this the V antenna. I bought a bunch of those. Again, these are kind of expensive, but I know when it comes to linear antennas and digital systems that these are very well made and they will work. Versus our typical whip or linear antennas, I've gotten mixed results from those. I've actually had to swap out, you know, the ones I just have in my bin and I've collected over the years. I've had to swap them out every once in a while because my video reception wasn't as I expected. In cases where I just don't want to do that, I buy one of these. These can be had from all sorts of different FPV shops around too. This is a quad that I've actually had around a while, and I've been flying it, and you see I've got screws in the motors. Typically I wouldn't need to do that, but in this particular case, one of these motors has got a shaft that with the prop on it, you can just spin the shaft in the bell, so it doesn't work. We put screws in there, and bingo bango, we're back into action, but it does add a little bit of weight. Of course, I bought a bunch of different rubber bands off of AliExpress, various sizes, 20 millimeter, 40 millimeter, that's in as far as their diameter goes, and various thicknesses. So unfortunately, I can give you a link to the ones I bought. I'll have to look in my AliExpress orders, but I couldn't tell you precisely which one this one is. But I might be able to get close. I'll try, because I bought one of them in white. It says free gift, but I paid for them. Stork Fly is the store on AliExpress that I've been buying them, and I think this might be it. Yeah, because this bag has got smaller rubber bands. See how they marked them the same? They mark them the same, but they're different sizes. These are smaller and wider, and these are longer and not as wide. But just leave a comment if you want to know about the rubber bands I bought off of AliExpress. Obviously, I've got 100. That's why they're marked the same, but they don't have anything on here that I can show you to make it easier to find, other than the AliExpress Stork Fly name. I think that's Stork Fly. I don't know what this is out here. Something that I don't talk a lot about because I don't know, it just doesn't come up all that much anymore. So for a time we used to have, well, and we still do, you can definitely find them. We'd have frames that are stretched X, so they'd be longer front to back than they were side to side, and that was more considered a racing style. And then True X, which is what we have here, where the motor distance is the same from front to back as it is side to side. My preference is for True X. There could be a flight performance benefit if I were to be a true racer, someone who's competing, and I can, take a look at my times and stuff through gates and say, oh, well, I was, a second and a half faster on the stretched X. There's also the squashed X, which I don't think I've seen that in a while, but that one's more like let me grab it. I would consider the fractal whoops a squashed X. So the distance from front to back is much, much shorter than it is side to side, so it gives it that kind of dimensions of the props being closer together front to back. So that's kind of a squashed X. And then they've got slammed X, and there's other names that can be interchanged for many of these things. But as I was looking at this, I was thinking, is this a stretched X for racing, or is this True X? And I was kind of visually, I was a little bit confused, so I got my calipers out and measured it, and sure enough, it's True X. Here's a little sample of some of the micro frames that you can find on Jacks3DPrinting's website, and the names are kind of all escaping me. I know this is the GTR. This is, again, by Kevin Langlois, the TKS. Got it right there for us, makes it easy. And some of the other names are escaping me, but I did purchase these. He did not send them to me free of charge or anything. He also does printing, and you can see he's got quite a printer set up. Hopefully that kind of focuses. Yeah. So if you're looking to buy some micro frames, check out Jacks3DPrinting. If you've got some prints, he's got bigger stuff too. So if you like the bigger prop stuff, check him out. I always like to promote the smaller shops. No affiliation other than just, kind of internet friends, I guess. But he does have a nice carbon shop out there, and he also does printing, hence the name Jacks3DPrinting. I think I forgot to mention the camera in this. It's the Nano Light that you get with the new HDZero 1S boards. Hopefully this was a short video. I just wanted to highlight another 2S HD sort of micro build that I've been enjoying. Many might be asking about my Rocket Race. I've kind of covered this a few times. The Rocket Race really isn't friendly to a 2-layer stack, and that's why I have this on this one and I don't on my Rocket Race. I still have a lot of Rocket Races, still love them, but they're kind of limited or restricted to analog. You might be able to get creative and squeeze it in there somehow. I'm always worried about that and durability issues, whether it's to the boards or too much stress on the carbon. I'm not certain. Remember, HDZero goggles is what I was using, and it is my daily goggles. I'll be using them from here on out whenever I can, which kind of means, because Walksnail VRX has HDMI out, I got HDMI in, so I can do analog, HDZero, Walksnail. Come on, DJI, make a VRX, right? I don't think that's going to happen. But if they would, it would be cool. I think I also need to change this antenna, right? Because this antenna should be up, memo purposes. I'm not certain about my configuration on antennas yet. I still have a lot more testing and flying to do that. I'd like to explore these a little bit. But I wanted to share with you this. If you order here recently, you're probably not going to see your order shipped until March. But that price savings, that $105 price savings, by my understanding, that ends February 4th. So if you don't get an HDZero goggle order before then the price jumps up $105. I know, it's a hard sell. I'm not trying to hard sell you. Actually, I told somebody the other day that they had ordered based on my review, and that always makes me nervous. It always makes me nervous when somebody tells me they spent money because of my review. I get it. I get the position I'm in. It just still makes me nervous because I'm always worried somebody's going to have a bad experience, and I just don't want that to happen to anyone. You know, get lost in shipping, shows up and it's defective somehow, what have you. Remember, if you plug in 6S into these, this switch has got to be in the off position before you plug in the battery or you plug it into the goggles. Got to be off. I think there's already one case of it where somebody plugged in a 6S battery and this was in the on position. Better to just not use 6S. Stick to 5S and lower. It'll be fine. Matter of fact, I already told you about a 6200 milliamp 2S battery. I think it's kind of expensive though. The AU line or Gold line 4800 is also a battery you could probably look at getting. I think that's a lithium ion rather than lithium polymer. So little differences there. I probably took my short video and made it a whole lot longer there. I apologize for that. If you have any comments, questions, or suggestions about the Starlord HDZero, which is a build that I wanted to bring to the channel and show everyone from Jacks3DPrinting. I will link Jack's shop down below so you can find that very, very easily. I'll also link the HDZero review and goggles down below in case you haven't seen that. And if you have any questions about recommendations for stuff like this or your HDZero builds or other HD builds, again, I asked about the most durable motors you guys have all tried. I'd really like to know, you, especially those that are flying around concrete surfaces like that, what's your most durable motor? I really don't have a recommendation for anyone to ask me because my flight area is pretty soft, largely, outside of this little bit of cement, and I don't crash around that cement all that much. So I'm not a good reference point for that sort of question, so I'd like some input from the community. And thank you for that input. Leave those down in the comment section below. I appreciate your time. Thanks for watching.